Hola, welcome to the Georgia Hispanic Chamber of Commerce podcast series. In today's podcast, our panel will discuss access to capital as presented at the 10th Annual Business Summit and Expo, Wednesday, September 7th, 2011.
I'm Sean Mabey. I'm with Wells Fargo, and I am the Director of Small Business Strategy for Atlanta. And every time I say that, people say, well, what does the Director of Small Business Strategy for Atlanta do? And very simply, it's my responsibility to develop and implement a strategy to help the small business in Atlanta succeed financially. And that's the easiest way I can say it is a major priority for us here in Atlanta and across the country to make sure we are helping our small businesses succeed. And I truly believe, and as a bank we truly believe, that if we can help our small businesses succeed financially in these times, one, it creates jobs, which then helps our communities. And we know we are only as successful as our communities are successful. And if it helps our communities, it'll help our economy and ultimately help our country be more successful. And so small business is very, very important to us. And it's one of the reasons that we are here today and have sponsored this event because we want to make sure everybody in the industry understands that. And so what we're here today to talk about is we have our panel of esteemed experts in different areas, and we're going to talk about access to capital. And as we all know, for small businesses, access to capital is a very, very important thing to get business either off the ground or get them from kind of startup to growth and from growth to maturity, kind of all the different stages of the business life cycle. So I'm very, very excited to have the panel here. The way it'll work today is each of our panelists, which I'll introduce in a second, will speak a little bit about their area of expertise. And what you'll notice is there is a lot of overlap of what we all do. And that's the perfect segue into the fact that there's no one way to get everything done. What I want to make sure is you understand kind of in Atlanta in general, how do you gain access to capital? What are the options out there for small businesses? So without further ado, let me introduce our panelists. I guess I'll go from my left to right. And so we're going to start with Terry Dennison, who is the Managing Director, Georgia District Manager for SBA. I'll have everybody kind of give their background in just one second. We're moving now to Alfredo Alonso, who is a credit analyst with Wells Fargo for our business banking group. Eli Marks, we're going to jump over since we're going to stay with the Wells Fargo group, and he's our Southeast, and for us Southeast is basically everything from Georgia down, not including Florida, and over towards Mississippi. He is our Southeast credit manager, so he is responsible for all the credit that we do in the Southeast through our financial centers or through our stores. And then we have Kevin McGee, who is Business Development Manager for Action, which is a micro lender. So they specialize in smaller size loans to help smaller small business customers. So with that, I want to let these guys kind of introduce themselves and give a little bit of background. So Terry, we'll start with you.
Good morning. I'm Terry Dennison, and I'm the District Director for the SBA's Georgia District Office. I've been here in this capacity since May of 2002. Been with the agency since August of 1987. So had the opportunity to work with a variety of SBA programs, including the finance programs.
Good morning, my name is Alfredo Alonso. I'm the credit analyst out of the Duluth office. I've been in banking for over 10 years. Been in the Atlanta market since 2006. Been with Wells Fargo for the last 3 years. My role is to look at all complex credits throughout the Duluth office.
morning. My name is Kevin McGee with Axion Small Business Lending here in Atlanta. I'm a former entrepreneur, for those out there, so I definitely understand this market very well. I was an entrepreneur for about 12 years before joining Axion November of 2010. I was also an Axion client 2 times, so I know the product, know the market, and very excited to be here today. And hopefully I can shed a little light on the microcredit and micro-lending enterprises.
Good morning, everyone. Sean did a great introduction. Eli Marks, credit manager for the Southeast. That includes small business and retail. And when we talk about stores at Wells Fargo, that's our branches. A lot of people, we like to call them stores. Other people call them branches. And I've been with the company 20 years in many different roles throughout the Southeast. I'm looking forward to talking more at length today about access to capital and credit specifically. Have to ask, and this is going to be sacrilege. I guess we're sitting in the Braves Stadium. Did anyone see that Yankees game last night? Did anyone manage to stay up till 2:30 to finish that game? Neither did I, but I heard the recap. I think about it kind of as an analogy to entrepreneurs in general. Only entrepreneurs are going to sit up and work hard, after a 5-hour rain delay, and get that game done, and getting business done. So I'm looking forward to talking to this group specifically. As that entrepreneurial spirit just resonated with me last night. Just wanted to share that. I'm not even a Yankees fan. I just thought it was kind of a neat thing.
As a fellow New Yorker, I appreciate that. I appreciate the plug.
Hopefully Hank Aaron won't come out.
I would say, I think I feel the building shaking. All right, well, we're going to transition and hear a little bit more from our panelists. And so, Eli, I think we're going to start with you, and we'll tag team through, kind of talk a little bit from a banking in general, not necessarily Wells Fargo. If someone would come into a store or financial center at Wells Fargo or really any bank, kind of what are the options and what are the banks looking for as far as access to capital?
You bet. So right now, you'd think that over the last couple of years, it's certainly been a challenging time from an economic standpoint, that the banks in general would have changed their lending criteria in some ways. Risk from a risk mitigation standpoint. 2007, 2008 were pretty shaky years from an economic standpoint, and that impacts the entire marketplace, including entrepreneurs. But at the end of the day, I would tell you, as we sit here today, this year, the fundamentals really have not changed in terms of what banks look for in terms of access to capital. And that would include someone, even such as a startup. Wells Fargo is the #1 small business lender, but many of the small businesses out there can have a great relationship with their financial institution of their choice. And it really starts with knowing your banker and getting connected to someone at your company before you have a specific need. And that would be my first recommendation. Typically, about 10 to 15% of our customers that come in and open up a new business checking account will receive an offer of credit, and that's a surprise to many people. It comes in the form of a small business Visa card, but I would tell you that those offers are unique in the sense that most entrepreneurs do make the mistake of going for capital when they need it. And what I would say is the best thing to do is to start building your business credit, stand alone from your personal credit when you don't need it. And that's whenever you have the opportunity to build that credit out, you should take advantage of it. And having that conversation with your banker is really that first step in developing that opportunity. From there, any manner of business is eligible for credit, from a banking standpoint. There's no hard restriction that you would say, well, I don't qualify because I'm fill in the blank, 1 year in business, or I had this challenge 8 years ago. Whatever those issues may be, you really have a multitude of options, but that first step is really having that conversation with your banker.
This concludes part 1.